Good evening and welcome to the March 10th, 2021 work session of the Penfield Town Board. I'll officially call this meeting to order. In the auditorium this evening, we have Deputy Town Clerk Sue Scheit. We also have Director of Public Works Eric Tait, Development Services Director Mr. Costello. And zooming in this evening, we have our full board, councilpersons Draw, Ockenden, Moore, and Cole. And then we also have some guests that we'll hear from in just a moment. I will read our official statement into the record. Due to COVID-19 virus and the closing of town operations, consistent with the governor's executive orders, the May 10th, 2021 Town Board work session meeting will be held remotely via Zoom. This meeting will also be video recorded and broadcast live via the town's website at penfield.org, on the town's government access cable channel 1303, and on streaming media device, and they include Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Please search Penfield TV in your device's app store. This is a free app. This meeting will later be transcribed. Questions regarding video coverage, please contact Penfield TV at 340-8661. And with that, we will begin our agenda. Our first item this evening is our minutes. We do have the minutes of February 24th, 2021, provided by the clerk's office. And I'll ask the board, is there a motion of approval for those minutes?
We just lost you, Tony.
All right, so thank you for that courtesy heads up. And our team downstairs will get us patched together. So please bear with us, team. And we will we'll be with you as soon as we get thumbs up and or hear from downstairs. All right, board, thumbs up if you can hear me.
No, not very well, Tony.
Okay, thank you.
You seem far away.
All right, not a problem. Thank you. We'll continue to work. We'll continue to work on things. I see a lot of flashing lights and icons. And there we go. All right. Okay. So we apologize again. Systems being what they are a little finicky, but we have a great team downstairs with Dave and Brian, and maybe Ryan and or Amy as well. So we'll continue on. We do have the February 24th, 2021 minutes. I would entertain a motion of approval for those minutes.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilperson Moore, second by Councilperson Cole. All right. Thank you very much. I'll ask, are there any questions or comments regarding those minutes? All right, seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote of approval.
Draw.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, our next item is monthly reports. Most of our monthly reports are in. I think we're missing just 2. And I would expect that they would be in by week's end. And thank you to the department heads for getting that to the board with updates of where things are in your respective departments. This evening, we do not have any public hearings. We do have one guest. We have Duane Basch requesting a Streamline approval to relocate Basch and Nickerson LLP from 1767 Penfield Road to 1844 Penfield Road. And I'll ask Mr. Costello to tee it up from there.
Thank you. Duane called me the other day and asked if he could get before the board. He wants to talk to you about a possible relocation. Actually, it's not possible. He wants to relocate. I went through the files and I could not believe that this board had approved them to relocate or to initially move to 1751 Penfield Road 10 years ago. It seems like they were there yesterday, but I'll let Duane explain to you exactly what his needs are and why he wants to move. Go ahead, Duane.
Duane, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, so just briefly, the intent is that we realized as a result of the pandemic, frankly, that we didn't need all the office space that we got at the current location. So we do quite a bit of work with the Dawson Law Firm, and understood that they had some space opening up the end of last year, and Brett was willing to hold it for us. So the intent is to move up there. It's currently a large open front room and a back room that doesn't have any windows. Our intent would be to use the front to add a couple of I'll call them built-in offices and a couple of partitioned offices for our staff, and then actually a temporary area. And so that's really the logic of it, is we can downsize. And as I noted to Jim, our intent would be to put the current location, which is owned by our related LLP, put that up for sale once we move. And, you know, from a parking perspective, I don't know if that's a question or concern. I noted to Jim that we're currently operating with 1, maybe 2 people on site. Once the COVID restrictions come up, we're probably going to continue to allow some of our staff to have fairly flexible time. Both Mike and I also have remote working capabilities. We've done that for a number of years. So I would anticipate at most 2 to 3 people there. We have very little client visitation. We will have a conference room to allow for clients to meet with us if that's necessary, but that's pretty infrequent occurrence over the last 10 years at our current location. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Duane, thank you very much. It's amazing. The pandemic certainly has shown us a number of different things, and this working remotely has come very high on that list. So understand, I've heard what you're doing. I've heard from a number of other different individuals and businesses doing similar types of things. Duane, could you tell us a little bit about what your plan is from a signage standpoint at that location?
Yeah, good question. So it's as currently the gym or athletic facility that was in the lower level has signage out in the front. As last I recall, in the last week or so, it hasn't been removed yet. Our intention would be to simply use that the same area and take a sign, probably very similar to what we've got out front at 1751 right now, reduce it in size to fit into that kind of that form factor that's out there right now.
Okay, great. Board, questions for Duane?
No, it seems pretty simple, pretty straightforward move. You're not really increasing anything in that area. When I think about what was there before, you're going to be less than what we approved for the last tenant in that space. Sounds like a good move to me. I don't have any questions.
All right.
Yeah, we're certainly. I mean, you know, we've been in the district since Mike and I formed back in 2003, originally under the dentist office, and then we moved down the street. We're looking to try out the north side.
Yeah.
Very good.
And you stay right in the 4 corners. This is good. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you having made your business home in Penfield and to keep it in Penfield. So that's very key. So thank you. And then also good luck to you and your partner as you look to put the current facility up for sale. So hopefully that goes as quick as a lot of things that we are seeing selling around Penfield. All right, board, other questions for Duane? This is requesting a streamline, so we would be looking at giving our blessing for this proposal, having Mr. Costello follow up with a letter to him and to Mike, indicating that the board has supported this, so that they've got that for their records. And then Duane, what's the plan for making the move from current location to new location? Time-wise, is that what your question is? Please. Yeah. So basically, it's a constraint by utilities. We've got our internet provider is looking to accomplish that hopefully by the end of this month, and then it's a matter of getting the phone lines up there. So you know, it could be
frankly, within the month, probably more likely end of the month, or most likely April, the way things work. And our intent actually would be to at least temporarily put in the partition offices and have kind of a flex space there. I continue to work at home. I've not been really into the office other than stopping in occasionally. And then do the build out of the new offices while we're in essence occupying the facility. Just we don't have a real space constraint in there.
Okay, great. Board, any other questions for Duane?
No, Mr. Supervisor, I'm happy that they've chosen to stay, as you mentioned, in the Penfield, and not only that, but in the Four Corners District. And I make a motion to move forward with a Streamline request for the business to relocate to 1844 Penfield Road.
Thank you, Mr. Ockenden.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilperson Cole. Right, further questions? Duane, I'll ask any additional comments that you'd like to enter into the record on this matter?
I don't believe so. Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you, and thank you for your time. So there's a motion on the table in a second. Seeing no further discussion, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Draw.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Moore. Moore.
You gone?
Oh, he
There he
can't
is.
hear me.
Sorry, aye.
Ockenden.
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, Duane, thank you very much for your time. Good luck on the new location. Our best to your partner, and please be well and be safe.
Thank you.
All right.
Good evening, everybody.
Take care. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to action items. Our first action item this evening, it's a sidewalk waiver request, 1410 Penfield Center Road. This is a letter that came into the board, and board, I believe that we sent this over to you for your information and records. This is a case of a couple of homes being built on the Hammond Farm, Penfield Center Road, and I think everyone is familiar with the area, familiar with Mr. Richard Hammond. And they're requesting a waiver, from our sidewalk ordinance, and I'm going to let Mr. Costello or Mr. Tait, if they have any additional input to add that, but they're essentially looking for sidewalks to be waived in this area. That's consistent, I think, with what we've heard, from Mark Valentine in the past, that there are no sidewalks close to that area. And then the second request is that they're asking to have the fee waived, the per lot, the $1,000 per lot fee waived, and so typically what has happened is the board will waive the installation of a sidewalk and get an easement if needed necessary for that. And then there is the fee that is charged for that, and then the town board uses that to continue to extend sidewalks in other areas of the town. So the request is for a waiver of the sidewalk, installation of a sidewalk, and for the fee. So I'll open it up. I'll just ask Mr. Costello, Mr. Tait, anything additional that you would add to that?
I think you've covered it.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. So board discussion on this matter.
Mr. Supervisor, so if I guess I just want a little clarity on how often have we, I agree about waiving the sidewalk where the location is. As far as waiving the $1,000, has that been, is there precedent that we've done this?
I'm not aware, since I've been supervisor, I'm not aware of any location where we have waived that, Debbie.
Okay, thank you. I guess you know, as my opinion is, if we haven't done this in the past, you know, I'm not inclined to support doing that now, unless there's you know, a reason that someone can, you know, can share that, a good reason that we should do that, because I feel that we haven't done that in the past to other residents that are building homes in our town.
Okay. Other comments?
Tony, what is the address again? Is it, I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me on Penfield Center Road.
It's 1410 Penfield Center Road.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I think Debbie articulated what I was feeling. And makes sense about the sidewalk waiver, obviously, because there's not sidewalks going down there to connect to. But to waive the fee, it sounds like it'd be a favor, but it's not something that we would have done before, so it doesn't seem fair to the others that came before to allow this without a good reason. And if there's not a good reason, I would go along with just doing the waiver for the sidewalk and not for the waiving of the fee.
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, I mean, my thought when I was looking at this is, you know, I think in the past when we have done waivers but also included a fee, it was for properties that had some real potential for a sidewalk connection to that property at some point down the road. And when I look at this property, you know, on Penfield Center Road, it is in East Penfield, and it's pretty rural in that area. And I'm not convinced that sidewalks will ever be in that general area of Penfield, you know, around this property. And I certainly realize times change and things go on 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now. But, you know, as I look at it today, I don't foresee any sidewalks in this general area for the foreseeable future. And so I think to what Councilwoman Cole and Councilwoman Draw were talking about before, I believe that the areas in the past were properties that had, again, as I said before, real potential for sidewalks eventually being along that area or in that general area as connectivity to you know, residential subdivisions or connectivity to other sidewalks. Whereas this one, the difference is I don't think we're ever going to see sidewalks in this part of town. So I'm a little bit more flexible on waiving the fee with the understanding that probably sidewalks will never go out to this area of Penfield, at least in the foreseeable future. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, to be honest with you, but I'm much more flexible on waiving that fee because I just don't see sidewalks being out this far in East Penfield anytime in the near future.
Okay. Other thoughts or comments? Board, I might suggest that we table this matter, and the reason I say that is I think it's important for us to take a look at the map that Mark Valentine and his team have put together, and that we've seen from time to time as these items have come up. I think it's important for us to revisit our policy because if we're going to be doing something different than what our current policy is, then I think we need to review and see if we need to update or change that out. So I may encourage the board tonight to table this matter and put it forward for the March 24th Town Board work session meeting.
I'm fine with that, Mr. Supervisor. I would move to table this till the March 24th meeting then.
Okay, second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilperson Draw, second by Councilperson Cole. And what I'll ask is that Mr. Valentine bring us the map and supply us the policy so we have that for the March 24th meeting. Further discussion? See no further discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote for tabling this matter.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden,
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, thank you. Our next item, action item, is 2036 5 Mile Line Road, a second curb cut. And I would like to recognize our Director of Public Works, Mr. Tait.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I was recently contacted by the new homeowners of 2036 5 Mile Line Road. For those that are unfamiliar, this is the road at the southeast corner of the intersection of 5 Mile Line Road and High School Drive. The driveway comes off of 5 Mile Line on the north side of the house. However, the entrance to the garage is actually on the east side of the house, kind of on the back side. So as you turn in, you actually have to do a complete 180 to turn and pull into that driveway. The new homeowners have had some kind of issues and concerns with being able to make that turn, especially as well as coming out onto 5 Mile Line, as it's right at the light. And depending on the time of day, the traffic, especially with the school, they're having difficulty getting in and out. They have requested the ability to install a second curb cut coming perpendicular off the driveway onto High School Drive. With that said, High School Drive is actually a private road. We do not have a right-of-way over that, so the request, before the board is to consider the option. However, I have also reached out to the Penfield Central School District as well, requesting if they have particular support or opinion one way or another for this matter. I have not received feedback from them. I have had an initial conversation, but I'm still waiting to hear that. And with that said, I would, prefer that the town board holds this item and tables this until the March 24th meeting to give me additional time to hear back from the board, or from the Central School District.
Okay. All right, before we do that, I guess I would ask the board, as you take a look at this first blush, Mr. Costello, if you could, with your arrow, if you could just show right there, if you can see that on the screen, that's the area where they're proposing to come out with that second entrance. And with the idea that, as Eric articulated, coming out onto 5 Mile Line Road, making it difficult to go either north or south by exiting out onto High School Drive certainly gives them access via light. It could be a little bit difficult at certain times of the morning, but it definitely is an alternative to give them a little more flexibility to get out that way. So any fundamentally, as you're looking at this, any concerns that you might see?
Just 1 second, I would like to add, there are other houses with driveways connecting to High School Drive. However, they are all on the north side, and there is a walkway leading from 5 Mile Line to the high school on that south side that this driveway would end up crossing. And I have a feeling that the school may have some concerns about having a driveway crossing that walkway.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
May I ask, actually, Eric, those are the exact questions I was going to propose to you, because I actually walk that property quite a bit, or walk from 5 Mile and go through the school and on that sidewalk. And I was going to ask the same thing. That's a pretty wide sidewalk that the kids walk to, people walk into the high school drive on, and that driveway would have to cross that sidewalk, and I was wondering the same thing, what the school would think of that, and as far as a safety piece of crossing into that sidewalk, with another drive, that close to the intersection, where the kids cross, where people cross across 5 Mile Line, the light, and then coming into high school drive. So I'd like to hear from the school and, as far as any safety issues, with something like that anyways.
All right.
That's a good point.
Are you still taking classes at the high school, Deb? All right.
Thank you,
So-
Supervisor. But I do frequent there's quite a few walks I have in this lovely town, and that is one of them, through, on that sidewalk at the top. So I do, and I actually did look at that this afternoon specifically, because I know exactly what they're talking about with it. You do have to turn. It is a tight turn for them in that driveway to get into that garage. But I am concerned about that sidewalk that is used a lot by people, the kids walking to school and so forth.
And some senior adults. So with that, I know that Mr. Tait has reached out, and I think normally he would have had some information. I understand that there are some changes, some updates that are going on to their facilities department, and so we want to make sure that they have the opportunity, not only from their facilities, but also from the administration, to make sure that they have vetted out, asked any questions, identified any alternatives, such as a painted crosswalk, something like that, so that we're putting everybody's safety out front and not having conflict with vehicles and people. So, all right. Other questions or comments?
Mr. Supervisor, just a question for Eric. Eric, when you mentioned that's a private road, am I to assume that's the school district's road or just some other arrangement?
Yeah, so my understanding is that ultimately the school would have the final say, but I certainly wanted to kind of bring it before the town board to see if the town would even consider, allowing the impervious surface and the, that driveway to have a second curb cut.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
All right, Board, I would entertain a motion to table this to the March 24th work session.
I'll move that, Mr. Supervisor, that we table this to March 24th.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilperson Draw, second by Councilperson Cole. I'd ask for a roll call vote. This is a tabling motion and second.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden,
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, thank you, Board. Thank you, Mr. Tait. We'll move on to informational items, and we have a proposed abandonment of a portion of sanitary sewer at 1211 Empire Blvd, and we have Mr. Sewer himself, Mr. Costello, tonight to give us an update.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I do want to bring to the board's attention that I'm proposing to submit a resolution Friday morning to you for next week. We are in the process of finalizing our review for the apartment building at 1211 Empire Blvd. And in doing so, we came across the fact that a very small portion of the building is going to actually encroach into that sewer easement. The applicants have been made aware of the fact that they have to give us another sewer easement, which they've already offered. And there is no sanitary sewer in that easement at this point in time. They will install one. The easement was actually designed to accommodate any potential development on the remaining portions of the properties on Wilbur Tract Road. So that we will still have a full easement in place. It'll just be out of the area of potential construction for the building itself.
Questions for Mr. Costello? I think, he had indicated we're abandoning one piece that would not be useful, and we've got a new description and meets and bounds for the new easement. So seeing no further questions at this time, would entertain a motion to move that forward for resolution for our next legislative session.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you, Mr. Ockenden. Second?
I'll second it.
Councilperson Draw, thank you very much. Seeing no further discussions on this matter, I'd ask for a roll call vote to move this forward to the next step, resolution before the town board ledge session.
Draw,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
LaFountain,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Ockenden,
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, Board, there being no further business to come before the town board at this work session, the March 10th, 2021 work session will stand adjourned at 7:32. Thank you to our team downstairs who kept us going in light of a little technical difficulty. They do their usual great job, so thank you, Brian and Dave and team. And as always, be well, be safe. Our next work session is on March 24th at 7 o'clock p.m. Thank you.